So today you're going to hear from a handful of graduate students whose research focuses on a very specific challenge we're facing or on a certain period of time. My research actually focuses on a whole bunch of complex issues that we're facing 30 years from now. And the reason for that is 54% of the world population presently lives in a city. But here in the US, in 30 short years from now, in 2050, it's actually projected that 91% of the US population will live in the city. And we know this is problematic because the way we've been designing American cities has largely remained unchanged for the last 60 years. However, this does present us with a really unique opportunity because if we can think about how to better design these future cities, we can actually take on many challenges simultaneously. Challenges like food security, environmentalism, and of course climate change. So when we think about these issues, it begs to ask the question, who are the students coming into our urban city to study city design, and how are we educating them? So here at the University of New Mexico, I am from the Organizational Information and Learning Sciences program, which is kind of a long way of saying I study adult learning theory and how to best educate adults. And my research focuses on college students because my research occurs at the School of Architecture and Planning with the Community and Regional Planning program, where I teach a handful of undergraduate courses. And upon surveying my students, it actually turns out that I will be lucky if 1 out of 30 students coming into the program for the first time actually wanted to study city design right out of high school. It actually turns out that many of the students coming into the program are actually coming from other parts of the university because they're seeing themselves not represented in the way we presently design cities. And these students are predominantly women, people of color, and those facing social justice issues. So what my research does is, taking into account these students, my research thinks of how we can best educate this diverse student population to have them graduate from our city design programs so we can tackle many of the complex and ethical challenges that we're facing in the future. And the results of such research have been quite surprising. It actually turns out that when students bring their life experience and their own lived experience into the classroom, they can more easily project into the future and really think about the ethical decisions we'll be facing then and now. So why is such research important? Well, if we can best help our students to design these cities of the future that will take a look at our complex human, environmental, and technological challenge, we can best support these students to succeed in city design rather than collapsing under the weight of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan. So we'd like to hear a little bit about you. Tell us where you're from.
I was born and raised on a tiny little Indian reservation in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota. I am an enrolled member of the Grand Portage Band of the Minnesota Chippewa tribe. I actually came to New Mexico for boarding school. I went to boarding school up in the Four Corners, and when I graduated, I asked myself, why do I want to stay here where it's too hot for me, or do I want to go back to the snow? And I stayed. And so I came here to UNM, got married, and never left.
Is it really too hot for you?
Being half Indian and half Viking, yes, I prefer the snow. I am not built for this environment.
Okay, thank you so much, Jordan.
Thank you.